just my connection on Instagram is a little bit interesting. Instagram has been interesting with me, but
you're already live? You are, yeah.
We're going live on YouTube. It's connecting. And
Recording
I'm
is
also
out.
going live on my business page, my fan
Okay,
page.
so I just got into your Instagram, so if you wanna add me there too.
So muting that. I'm learning the tricks, you know, as we go, I learn.
Well, I would love to learn it when you learn it.
We're just like Instagram is taking a while to connect, so let's get going.
Awesome.
Let's get to the receiving. Let's get to see how much we can receive. So Gabriel is coming to join us. And I'm not getting to connect to Instagram. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
That's
Well, yeah, it's like
unbelievable.
having
But let's get going here, shall we? And then
coffee.
we as Instagram connects, I'll let you know, and then we play there as well. And if not, well, may consciousness be with us.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And here we are, people, to start receiving. This is Isabel. And we're creating a full class on receiving the day after tomorrow. And today we chose to do this intro for you guys to start receiving. And what if you can receive also in different languages? We've done some about feelings in Portuguese, in Spanish, and today we're going to receiving in English. How does it get any better?
How does
That
it?
is about.
Yeah.
So
It's been super fun and different. So yes, welcome everybody. Welcome to this taste of receiving, and we're super excited for this creation. Like it's been already changing so many things in my life. Like literally just like every single day there's just something else showing up of like what I haven't been willing to receive, and then I'm like in the face with it. Then I'm like, holy shit, like what is this? And so then I go into something different, and it's like it opens up a door, and it opens up something totally different from what I had before. So it's like I see that all the places where we don't allow ourselves to receive something, maybe because I don't know, it's uncomfortable, or because it doesn't feel good, or it doesn't feel like the way you're used to and like the way you're just super comfortable with, then you like we reject it. And when we do that, or we react, right? And when we do that, it's like literally like closing the door to a totally different space. So yeah, that's been my whole weeks, like since we chose this.
really, and when you look at it, like there's so many quote unquote misconceptions of receiving, of what receiving is, that it isn't, and what like some people even in consciousness sometimes they go like, oh, what you are
In the
not
name of
willing to
consciousness.
receive in the name of
In the
consciousness.
name of consciousness.
And then you go like, that goes so weird to you, and you like, there's this whole thing about barriers that we put up, that we push down. And well, like Isabel was saying, a lot of stuff has been moving around receiving since we started this creation, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like a cognitive class, it's an energetic creation. So it's already going, it's already moving.
Yeah.
And we're receiving from that.
Exactly. It's like, it's super, I love it because it's like we as facilitators, we choose to create a class, and literally this class is facilitating us since we make the choice. If we, yeah, so it's super fun, and sometimes, you know, it's uncomfortable as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
I keep telling people that sometimes I find myself, quote unquote, beginning the class before it begins.
Yeah.
And then like I won't sleep at night, and then I will start facilitating at night. and stuff will come up to me the day before or the week before, and
Yeah.
all sorts of interesting stuff. And this is like, wait a minute, is this about the class? And then you suddenly get so much space, and then you are like in a totally different receiving mode, I would say. But
Exactly.
I would like to suggest a question, if I may.
Yes, please, Fabio.
What would you guys like to receive
Oh,
tonight from this time together?
yes, totally.
If you could receive anything, I like that, because like that brings us to a state of presence, if you will, of like, yeah, there is something for me to receive here. And from a space of acknowledging that you chose to be here, so there is something for you here, no matter if you get it cognitively or not. And the more non-cognitive you get, I
Hmm.
think, I get, the more you receive, not just
Yeah,
a thinking thing, you know.
I love that because, and it's like a lot of people is like, why? Like, you guys asked the question, but like, am I supposed to answer or something? Like, am I supposed to
Right.
know the answer now? And it's like, yeah, we're opening up like these places with these questions or these spaces where like we allow the energy or whatever like is required for us to receive in that moment or in this flow of this call. So again, like what do you guys would like to receive from this space, from this um, hour with us or minutes? I don't know how long are we gonna be here. And if
Yeah.
there's any awarenesses that you guys get, you can totally go to the chat and maybe ask a question or comment something, and that would we can like what can we truly create here and today. Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently Instagram doesn't want to receive us today, at least not the connection here.
Okay.
Maybe Isabel can do it from her account and
Okay, okay,
just
and
keep the
what
phone
do we
listening.
require?
And
What does it require with that? Like just little. Okay, just starting it from my Instagram. I've never done it before, so let me see.
you've never done it. So what can we receive from
What can I
Instagram
receive
today?
from Instagram today?
What can we receive from internet today, from the connection? And you see that
Yeah,
there might be a huge movement of people creating at the time. And like, what if we could
exactly.
just expand a little bit and be the contribution for the information to flow, for
Wow.
the energy to flow? Yes, Vera, you totally can.
Yes, very now.
Vera is a
Okay.
great co-creator, and she's been transliterating. She's now translating Portuguese to Spanish. How does it get any better? She's
Yeah.
developing the Spanish speaking skills, and she's an amazing English to Spanish translator as well, and
Thank
co-creator.
you.
Right? She's co-creating with Isabel, with some classes of mine. She's probably starting her own co-creations and creations. So how does it get any better?
That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Fabio. Well, my question for you is how to receive or how to have more ease when I acknowledge some energies, especially from my mother. In some cases, it's like to be aware of this, it's like I have to go to the sheet of it in order to try to, in a way to be aware of it. But at the same time, I perceive like it's like I want to understand. Still, I want to understand. So yeah, how to be aware of everything on the energies she is choosing and she is projecting on me and blah blah blah, and
Mm-hmm.
not to go deep in the sheet, because in some cases it's okay, everything is mine, and yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not getting a lot of ease with that.
So two
Is
things
that
that you
clear, my
said
question?
just pinged, and maybe Isabel would like to start it, and I can go later, like do ladies
Let's
first kind
start.
of thing. No, you're
Totally.
not the ladies first kind of girl.
Not really.
Only when
Sometimes.
convenient. Okay,
Yes,
but
exactly.
like one thing you said is like, you mentioned the word understand. And from an energetic perspective, you want to stand under your mother so that you can get what's going on there. And that may be, and if you define that there is some shit there, imagine if you stand under the shit, that might not be a very comfortable position at all. And I would also ask you, like, what if you don't have to understand? And what's the energy underneath your how to get around that, or how to get that, or how to get your mother? Also, what is receiving to you? Like, that's a good question for all of us. And I thank you very much for that question, because really, what is receiving?
Yeah.
Do you guys get? What would you like to say, Isabel?
Yeah. So
I'm not
it's
done
like
yet, but I'll follow up later.
so it's like something that I was kind of like mentioning at the beginning about all these places where we don't allow ourselves to receive, and what to receive what. So like not only the beautiful, amazing things that we mostly reject actually, but
Mm-hmm.
also the ones that we don't like. So like for example, the judgments of others, or when we see people doing things that are, let's say, destroying themselves, or like we see people that choose things that is like, you know, like, oh shit, like why is this person doing this, right? Or like we see and we perceive all the shit of everybody, and we see it and we're like, if I only, like if I can just give you this little this, oh my god, your life can totally change. But then like sometimes that person or that like is not willing to receive that, and so it's like this constant urge of like trying to understand others and change them, and kind of like getting them to choose something different. And so what if like that is totally like not receiving at all? And what if like like, well, I mean, not to try to define receiving, but what if one of the aspects of receiving could be like literally seeing someone and like being willing to look at all the shit, all the things, and be like, oh, wow, interesting point of view. This person is actually choosing this or that. And what can I choose here? What, like, what can I create with this actually? And so, because if you, everywhere we align and agree, like, oh, like agreement, like, so what a lot of people I see doing is like, no, you have to accept everybody. You don't know. Maybe she went through a lot of abuse when she was little. Oh my God, for her. And like, that woman is a bitch completely. And you're like, just making excuses for her so that, so yeah, you don't feel that bad and you don't feel uncomfortable. And so, what we're doing with that is actually shutting down our awareness to not actually see what's real and true. And what's real and true could be, Fabio, that I can choose to be a bitch sometimes.
Exactly. And I would say like that energy of what receiving is because people go lump a lot of things together just to not have clarity of what is. And it's in the bar's manual, something that Gary says that to me, it opened a lot of space, because I was looking at some areas in my life that they were not like moving in the direction of a righteous, conscious me was choosing. And
Mm-hmm.
then
The
okay,
righteous
you
one.
you get the righteous part of it, like
Yeah,
how cool is that,
I
right?
right you
Like,
were. Yeah.
and how many times do we want to do that? Like we want to get consciousness right, so we want to get people on board because that's the right thing to do, and then we lump a lot of rightness into that, which in truth, and like especially from these days, one thing that has created a lot of space for me when I get into the contraction of other people's shit is like, really drop all your barriers. And I would say don't drop them, push them down all the
Like
way.
force them, like whoa.
Force them,
Yeah.
like, you son of a, go down. Or you can just
You
say
go
go down on
down.
me. No, that's another thing. But like, um, and really receive all the shit. Okay, so now come, let all the shit come, because how much energy you use to resist and react, even though cognitively you are saying, no, I should be receiving this, but I should be receiving means I'm not. And then what if receiving is just this a presence that you are, and from an infinite space, and that no matter what shit is coming, it won't destroy me. It won't even stink near me because I'm that powerful. So bring your shit, but do it. Do it good. Do the best you can, because now I'm present. And then the shit goes to you and say, oh, never mind.
Yeah, it wasn't even that bad. I
Yeah.
didn't die.
Yeah, you see, because that's the thing. Like it starts to activate some of the things that we call in access, like implants, anger, fear, or even
Worry,
doubt. Sometimes
hate.
we
Yeah.
doubt our abilities to deal with that shit because, like, come on, I've been doing bars for so long. I've been doing these many classes, and I know all of these possibilities. How is it that I'm not receiving here? And sometimes it's an energetic kind of thing. We could just do it now, and every time you do this, like, acknowledge that, like, this movement and the fact that you brought this up is already changing, right? We sometimes create lots of how would I put this, structure, form, and significance on how it should be so we can receive. So let's lock ourselves in a shrine for a weekend where there is no noise from the outside world, so we can meditate and then connect to the goodness of the world, so we can then receive the shit of my mother. And what if that's not, like, what if we can be so quick? Like, are you willing to receive that it can be gone already? That's a good question, right? And sometimes, like, things shift so change so fast that we recreate them because we're not still
Yeah.
ready to receive that it's already changed.
And also, if I can add to that, like all the places where we go, like into trying to solve the problem first in order to actually shift the energy that can be shifted like this. But we have to go to the root, right? And no, this is not gonna be that easy because like everything I had with my mom, oh my God, you have no idea. Like it's been horrible so much. So it must take a long time for this to like change or be healed or something. And everything that brought up, would you let that go?
Yeah.
So what if you can actually shift the energy of things just like this by being willing to receive the different, like all the energies, everything that your mother can be. Even if, let's say, your mother calls you and is like, she starts, I don't know, judging you or whatever in that moment, or like saying whatever, like, oh, Vera, you're always this, I don't understand. Look, whatever it is, let's say an example. What if in that particular moment, just there, while that is happening, you totally drop your barriers completely. And you're like, oh, she's choosing to be a bitch right now. She's choosing to be a judgmental bitch. Okay, what can I create here? What does it require here? And then to change this, or to create more, or to make it easy for me. And so then it could be that suddenly you're like, oh, mom, I'm so sorry. You're so right.
Yeah, and
Sometimes, yeah.
I like one thing that Gary says, like, since you're going that way, then just the energy came up. Like Gary says, with parents is so easy. You just like go and say, you know what, mom, I'm so grateful for you because everything I am, I owe it to you. It's because of you.
Yeah, it's just,
So
well,
what can she do with this? Like, there's no way of fighting that. Like,
yeah, she'll be like, huh? And then she'll be like, oh, okay, now, because she says that, or if you say, I'm so grateful because you're the kindest person I ever met, or whatever, it's like, oh shit, I now have to be kind. now I have to make her be grateful for me. So they actually start like the energy shifts completely because you're willing to.
Exactly.
And also, like, thanks for saying that, because like, what power of kindness can we be to
Exactly.
actually to change, to shift everything, like all energies as well. And that
Exactly.
doesn't mean like being a doormat at all. At
Exactly.
all. It doesn't mean about like I'm just gonna be a good little girl. It doesn't mean that at all. It just is literally more than is the willingness to be in allowance, being interesting point of view of what that person is choosing at that moment, and knowing that every single time that someone judges you is not, it's not personal ever.
Exactly. And there's one thing about judgment also, that people only judge you or accuse you of things that they are themselves. So
Yeah.
it's not personal. It's like, how much of that is she projecting the shit on you, or her shit that you could do different? And if you look at a space of kindness, like Isabel was saying, being kind is not being a good person. Being kind is being this energy. Ask for the energy of kindness without a definition. So how much
Without a
kindness?
definition.
Yes, exactly.
It's
Because
an energy you be.
exactly. And I got so I had a personal experience with that. I was like translating a book recently, which I finished and which should be published soon,
Oh
and
my god.
which is
That's the one
amazing.
I think I'm,
And
is
then
that the one I'm thinking? Or is
are
that a
you?
different one?
Yeah, I have mentioned it before, but like the book had an energy, and I was like, it was something that, because when I do it and you translate too, maybe you know what I'm talking about, and people here are also in a space of transliteration, and also those in the future will look at this and something will ping to them. Like when you connect to the energy of things, there was something in the book that like you you did everything to not go and do something, but when you started doing it, was like, holy shit, this is so amazing. Why am I avoiding this so much?
Yeah.
And then in a moment I got, wow, this is pure kindness in words. So when I
Wow.
sat down to translate the book, it was not really about typing words. It was, I traveled to a world of kindness I could not even put into words. And then before I knew it was, like, and then I would walk into like everyday things in my life, and then travel and stuff, like once upon a time people traveled, that kind of thing. And I would like, things would still run in my mind, in my world, in my energy. And I was like, what is it about this book?
Yeah.
And really, it's not about being a doormat, because I would oftentimes create situations where people would come to me and say, oh, you are too good. That's why people step on you all the time. And I was like, yeah, but that's not it. There's something else.
Mhm.
And how much of the kindness you are to others that you're not allowed, or sometimes even considering the possibility of being to you, that would be an invitation for them to get what kindness is, which is not being a good person, which is kindness.
Which is beyond being a good person,
Totally beyond.
which is being willing to be all energies
All
without
energies. And
putting
from a space of what is going to create more
negative.
here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Because like, do you notice how we contract ourselves to get into the space of quarrels and struggles and confrontations, and how much of the energy of avoidance, like, oh no, I'm doing consciousness, so I shouldn't get mad at this person,
I
or I should
shouldn't yell. I
or I
shouldn't yell.
shouldn't or
Yeah,
I shouldn't talk back to my mother, because
exactly.
after all, I'm doing consciousness. And
Yelling
like,
is wrong.
And it's usually like your avoidance of that is that keeps the energy there. If you just stop avoiding, that doesn't mean you have to do that. It's
Yeah.
just like, you know, it creates a space.
Yeah. It creates a space. Exactly.
And what else is
If even
possible?
I will even like run, like what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to be the demon from hell I truly be with my mom for all eternity.
Yeah,
And see like how like is not about, it's about being willing to be the energy so that don't get you don't become the effect of trying to prove you're not. So what you
exactly.
do is like, you're not, if you're not willing to be that energy, and I'm not saying go and, I don't know, be do something about it. I'm saying being willing to be the energy, it kind of like releases, kind of like opened up a space where you're not no longer contracting and suppressing yourself or cutting yourself in order to prove that you're not that, in order to
Exactly.
prove that you are just a good girl. Because in order for you as an infinite being to define yourself as something, a good girl, someone who will never yell, someone who will never say a bad word to someone or whatever, you have to contract completely. And so there's no space, there's no possibilities for change.
And you know what? Like after this experience I was telling you about the energy of kindness, I allowed myself to be the dragon I can be.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's like, you can come caress me and that would be fun, but if you mess around, I
I
can
feel
breathe
you.
fire on you. It's just like,
Fire.
what would you like to play?
Yeah. It's like
I
so.
can do anything.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like sometimes I have it with my son. Is like there's moments where before I wasn't allowing myself to be that. And I was like all the time, like containing everything. I will never yell. No, no, I'm a good mom. I'm a good mom. Right. And now is like this thing where sometimes what is required is that I go with all my killing energy and like, you fucking stop, or this, or like that. But what's funny is that when you do it with no point of view,
Yes.
in 2 seconds, I'm like, so what's next? Let's
Let's
go.
play. Yeah.
Play. And that's it.
Yeah,
And the energy just shifted. So it's like,
exactly.
and sometimes I'm just like a complete kindness where it's all about playfulness together. And like the huge problems that most of the parents see with their children, for me is like just playing. For me it's just having fun, you know. So it's like being willing to be all energies. Like how much
Exactly.
is that the kindness that this world requires in order to actually create a greater reality and a more like kind reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's also the thing about how much are we receiving who we truly be? Because how many definitions we have about ourselves, like you have about you as a mother, that you have about you as a daughter
Yeah.
who has this thing with the mother, who has about you with a woman at an age that is not married, that should be living with a husband, and how many of these projections are around that, and that you buy this as you, and then you suddenly say, hey, stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How kind is that to you? Like I look at this for myself sometimes, and especially in these days, like we had the foundation, which day 4 was yesterday, because it never finishes. I told people this will never finish. And we were talking about how quick these energies are right now, because there is such a space, and it's like if we were navigating through downtown jam streets. Now we're in a highway, so it's just full throttle and go, because every time you ask like, who does this belong to, that's like gone.
Yeah.
It's not like do something else, it's
Well,
go do something else, because that's
if you're
done.
willing, well, if you're willing to receive it though.
Oh yeah, there
Like
is this thing
how
about,
many points of view how many points of view do you guys have that about like changing or like transformation or like healing is supposed to be hard, or like enlightenment? You have to
Exactly.
how many
And
mountains do you have to claim a how do you say
climb.
climb in order to be enlightened, or how much
Exactly,
you have to
because
suffer?
yeah, because that goes along with a lot of shit. Like, how much of your magic do you suppress to keep functioning that way? Like, what if you could just gone? What else now? Because one of the things that we take for granted is how much we are willing to receive from the moment we're living right now. And then we keep recreating, like, oh, I have this thing with my mother since I was a teenager. But yeah, that just doesn't exist anymore. What is it now? Because like how much energy you put into recreating something since I don't know how long ago, and how much are you receiving from this moment now? Like, now the we're on the highway of change, so everything is like super quick, like freeway, I would say, not a highway, freeway.
The freeway. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so
Freeway.
it's like receiving that every day. And one of the things about receiving, since I take it from a state of presence that, like, really is this interesting point of view and the ability to receive everything, to be present with what is, with
Yeah.
no point of view. And that gives you an ability of change that I don't think you are sure you can handle it. So are you willing to receive that? Or you say, yeah, many people told me that and I've tried, and
Yeah. I mean, you get it when you get it, right?
yeah, of course. So maybe the thing to receive is like, how magic are you that you're not receiving, so you can keep, being in these shitty places. And maybe if you stay in the shitty places, like, you can enjoy the shit, 10-second increments.
Yeah.
So now give me all the shit you can, let me enjoy it for 10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds are gone, now I choose something else. Maybe an ice cream, maybe a pina colada.
I love it. I love it. Love
You
it.
know
Yeah.
and how much fun can we have with this? Because another thing in this energetic heights now, like, everything seems to be heightened, I would say. Like, if you go for the fun, it can be really fun. If
Oh,
you go for getting angry and, depressed, it can be really deep down depressed. So it's just a choice. If
yeah.
you want to fight, just do big shit. And if you want to, outcreate the fight, there will be no fight that can withstand you. That's the space I'm perceiving now. And I'm asking for more.
Yeah.
Not that it's about getting it right, not that it's like, okay, so you got there. It's not about getting there. It's a state of presence. And every day is a different adventure. And one of the things, I don't know, Isabel and Vera and all the people here, we hear these things about destroying and creating who we are every day. And I was really asking to receive from that these days.
Mm. Yeah. Me too.
Some days, like, they're pretty intense. And the more
Yeah.
you do, like, return the shit to sender, some days you say, okay, bring me the shit, bring it on. Come
Yeah.
on, dump it, truckloads, do it the best you can. Oh, come on, just this? Are you kidding me? You're bothering me for this little shit? Be worth of my time. Bring me big shit if you're doing shit. And then when you see that's not even what you were expecting to be.
Yeah.
It's,
Like, yeah. What's
you
the
know,
what's the
that's
worst thing that
an
what's the
aspect of
worst thing that can
receiving too.
happen for receiving their shit? Like, what's the worst thing?
Yeah.
Unless you put up a barrier, unless you are not willing to be a certain energy, and receive it, but you just reject it, then it will totally stuck you, and then you're like, oh my God, what's going on?
And you see, like this seems to be like, I get that everybody gets this by now, but we're not just talking about Vera, but her question
Yeah, no,
created the
exactly.
space
Yeah, like this is
that
for
here,
everybody. Like you, yeah.
it's even for
I
people
get it.
who watch in the future. Like I always ask to include them,
Yeah,
don't you? Like,
exactly.
so that
Totally.
when they watch, something will ping them, because they will not watch this randomly. They may think so, but there's something they can receive here. They will watch and stay connected. And when a question comes up in your world, in our world, when a creation comes up to us, and we allow ourselves to receive from that and to include ourselves from there, things just turn down magic. I mean, they turn out magic. They turn all the way magic.
Totally.
Totally. Wow.
So yeah, so I love it. I really, wow, I love how these energy is like going and flowing. And so like truly, what energies right now, like let's get present in this moment and just like right here, right now in these 10 seconds, what energies are you not willing to receive? And get a sense of it. Just like, okay, it could be, oh my God, when someone is very slutty, when I see a woman that is very, like, I don't know, intense or slutty, ugh, is like this. Or when my mom kind of brings me this like drama energy, it completely triggers me and like I'm out of the way, right? So what right now, what energies, and just perceive them. It could be many, it could be just one, whatever. Just perceive what energies are you not willing to receive in these 10 seconds. And then what if we simply, now all these energies, your mom doing whatever, like this person being this energy that you don't like, what if we just allow these energies to go through us right now, all of it, and put down your barriers. If you seem like it's not happening, put them down and let it flow through you completely. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. And then interesting point of view. Interesting point of view. This person is choosing to be this energy. Interesting point of view. I'm not choosing to be this energy. Interesting point of view. I'm not willing to be it. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view that this is wrong or bad, and who does this belong to? And so that's when all the questions starts like unraveling, like, and just shifting the energy very quick. Cool. And what else? What else can you receive? What other energies, even if they are uncomfortable, can you receive? And what can you create from that place? How many more spaces can you open? Doors can you open just by being willing to be and receive one energy that you were not willing to receive before?
Yeah. And then, do you guys get like the energy shift just by doing this actual exercise? And I don't know if you notice, and maybe we
Yeah, it
don't
was like,
even go into this space, but there were like lots of aspects to it that we could just spend hours and hours talking about. But
yeah,
that's the thing, like, what if it can be just so quick and so easy? And it doesn't take hours, doesn't take effort, doesn't take hard work, doesn't take years and years of, intense work and looking back to see where it started, how it did, or when. And it's just like, there's just now. What can we do now? What can we change now? What can we be now? That it's so great that we've been avoiding, because there's this thing that is the thing we are avoiding,
yeah,
which is not even a thing.
yeah. And there's this also like this other space or this other side of like when we are trying to like change people, because we we care, and that's true. We care so much about others, and so we go and we try to like change them. And when we do that and it's not being requested and is not being received, then those are the places where we actually get way more stuck. Because one of the things that, I don't know if that, where does it say that, but like Gary says that when you give something to someone that that person is not willing to receive, it will backfire to you. It's like it will give it back with daggers attached. So, and that's when we get like stuck energetically or in many ways. So what things, like what are you giving? What are you trying to give that is not being received right now, that is kind of like getting you stuck in their reality instead of you having yours?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is also a question in the YouTube, like, can doubt stop receiving? Can doubts stop our receiving? That's the question.
Can doubt. Okay. So
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so like so doubt is an invention.
Yes, if you look at doubt as a distractor implant, which is an invention, which is not even real, which is not even yours, which is implanted and which is meant to distract you. So it takes you from the space that you can truly be present to receive whatever is there.
Yeah.
And one of the things we doubt the most is ourselves, our abilities, our capacities, which is a total denial of our very being.
Yeah.
Like, you deny your ability to handle this, like to cope with this realities, if we can say cope, but like, let's say, to include this reality. It's not even coping, because we don't require that. It's just like, come on, come here, you will not, you know, that state of presence, there's no doubt that can survive there. And yes, if you doubt that, how much are you being unkind to you as an infinite being to doubt yourself or to doubt anything, your abilities?
Yeah.
What else, Isabel?
You can also, I was like, so whenever you see yourself in that, like let's say in doubt or any other, in fear or whatever, is like, well, would an infinite being like have doubts or like not know something? And so right now, as an infinite being, what do I know? What do I know of it about this? So, and so it's like start tapping into the infinite being you are, instead of like the finite being that we are so programmed to like be. And then you will be amazed of like how many um awarenesses you can get every second about things that you were like, I thought I didn't know that, if you choose it, of course, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, so like,
It,
for example, I've never I was telling like the beginning of this call, like I've never in my life translated, ever in my life. Like that was not part of like my reality at all. And then suddenly something, because I was willing to like follow my awareness, it's like there's something with translation and I'm choosing this for some reason, whatever. Let's do this. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I have no idea. And I could be like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Maybe I'm gonna fail. And this is gonna be, I can't do this. I was like, let's go for it, whatever. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Oh, you're bad at translating. Okay, I can take that. Bring it on. So I'm like,
exactly.
go, and I start translating in a call and stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, I knew this. It was actually part of my capacity. How does it get any better than this? And then, wow, like it started opening up in my life so many different things and like abilities and like just spaces that I wasn't being willing to acknowledge before about myself, for example. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little example, but it's like, we know how much,
Yes.
like, yeah.
And the thing that you said just brought up another aspect of receiving. Like when we receive a situation that we decided it's uncomfortable
Oh yeah.
or it's annoying or it's somehow
Annoying.
threatening or that we doubt our ability, what if we can just shift the point of view a little bit and see that not as any of this, but as an invitation to your knowing, to step into your knowing that's bigger than you considered. And the knowing is something so amazing that it's way beyond what we've been taught.
Yeah.
So we can know things that we were never taught, not in this lifetime at least.
Yeah.
So when you said like in terms of language too, like I can give you multiple examples and fun stuff that has come up with that. And we can expand it to everything. Like what if this thing that you cannot change, this thing that seems to be so annoyingly present in your life, is just an invitation for you to see how powerful you are to deal with that you wouldn't if you didn't have to.
Yeah.
And not even deal with would be the word, like just as a way so you can get it. Like there's, what if this is just it, an invitation to play?
Yeah. How much fun can we have playing with all of this? And what
Yeah,
places are we making so significant about life
exactly.
that doesn't allow us to enjoy everything, including the uncomfortable energies, including the people who are choosing to be assholes, bitches, or whatever, like just
Exactly.
including everything with no point of
Yeah.
view.
Yeah, and every time we exclude something, we're cutting our receiving.
Yeah. My body hurts like when I know, like when I start like not willing to see something or avoiding or just cutting myself and whatever. It's like, whoa, like everything, even my body is like, it takes me to a place until I have to, I'm like, wow, like what truly is this? And your body show you. It can show you so many things, and all the places where we're choosing to contract. And I can even, like, my head is like, it goes like when I'm doing that, when I'm not willing to see something. So yeah, what can our bodies tell us as well?
Exactly. Well,
Awesome.
I get that we've created a lot here.
Oh
I
wow.
wonder what we can create on the
I wonder
29th.
if this is just the beginning,
It's just a taster. It's
just a
just
little
like,
taste
give me
of
more,
this
dude.
amazing class that it's coming up on the 29th of April, and it's called Receiving. And oh my goodness, I truly can't wait to see what this is gonna create and all the miracle magic and possibilities that we're gonna create with this class. So I can't wait to see you all there.
Yes. I posted the links here in Portuguese firstly. I guess like I can find them somewhere in Spanish and English. Or maybe
Yeah,
and during this call, we're going to have translation to Spanish and Portuguese done simultaneously so we can interact. We can dig deeper into the receiving thing.
yeah.
So you can make sure to receive 3 recordings later, one in Portuguese, one in English, and
And
one
one
in
in
Spanish in
exactly.
Vera's sexy voice too.
Yeah,
So yeah, and it's only $35, so it's really a contribution for us in this moment that we are choosing to outcreate this non-receiving of this new reality. So who else can join us in this party? Who else can be with us in this creation? And it's just 2 days away, right?
yeah, exactly. 2 days away. So I'm putting the English one here. If you guys want to see it, yeah, it's there. And then, well, we have been sharing the Spanish ones as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, wow, thank you guys, thank you ladies, thank you everybody.
Yeah.
Fabio.
Thank you.
So much fun, and Vera
Thank
for
you,
being always there.
Isabel. Isabel is such
Thank
an
you.
amazing invitation to
Amazing.
creation.
Yeah.
Besitos.
We'll see you in a couple of days, everybody. Ciao,
See
ciao.
you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Isabel, or Vera. Vera is
Or Maria.
co-creating this with us. And yeah, how much fun can we have receiving? More,
Thank
more,
you.
more.